Hi there, welcome to Sassy Zen Girl and the final episode about how to rank in Google. This time we'll talk about off-page optimization. Off-page SEO, what's that? It is actually everything you do off-site, meaning outside of your website. And basically three areas that Google counts and that is important for Google, and you really need to have all three as a package to rank in the long run. First one, traffic. That's the amount of you just have to sign up for an account, and there's plenty of tutorials on how to do that, so just Google that. You definitely want to do it and see how that goes. There's also detailed demographics, where your people come from, who they are, and all of that, so very helpful information. The other part Google looks at is the CTR, the click-through rate. That means how long people stay on your site. In other words, if someone comes to your site and they immediately click away, it tells Google it wasn't relevant to them. Now, this can happen once in a while, but if it happens all the time or most of the time, that will really dump your site. So you need to have quality content for that very reason. If it's stuff that no one wants to see, the click-through rate, or the bounce rate as it's called, can really harm you. Secondly, social signals. The social media are basically Google's biggest competition, and so it always keeps a close eye on what's going on there. So if your site or something you write, an article or a blog post, is frequently shared, liked, interacted with, it tells Google it is important. Once again, we're talking about relevance, as we mentioned in the last video. Another area, and probably the most important area, is backlinks. I just wanted to add one more thing to social signals, because think about it in this day and age. If there's something that's really good, people will share it. They will talk about it in social media. That's just how the world functions. So if you don't have any social signals at all, that looks suspicious to Google. Sorry, I had to backtrack there. Now, backlinks, that's the currency of the internet, the currency of Google rankings. Links control rankings. That's really how it goes. You might have heard of linked juice, and that's what that is referring to. Now, what is a link? Just to be clear for everybody. If you see this example, for more info, click here. You've all seen that. The blue thing, that's the link. When you go over it, there's a little fist. Your mouse turns into a little fist. You click on it, and it opens into another page. Remember? The two parameters Google is looking for in a link is relevance and power. Relevance meaning, if you have a dog sitting site, the more sites that are related to dogs, pets, animals in general, sitting, and linked to your site, Google will take it a lot more seriously, because it sees that a lot of people in your category, in your genre, in your business line, find you important enough to link to you. So that has a big impact. Now, if someone completely unrelated links to you, like, I don't know, Ninja Turtles or Star Trek or something, it still counts as a link. It's still good to have. Don't say no. Don't ever say no. But it just doesn't have the same relevance, and I think that makes sense. The only types of links you absolutely want to stay away from is gambling and porn. Not for moral reasons, but simply because Google considers them spam, and you don't want to come across as a spammy site, because then, once again, you get penalized, you get dumped into oblivion, and you don't want that. Second part is power, link power. This refers to domain authority, or DA, and trust flow, TF. Now, what power means is, as an example, the New York Times, the Huffington Post, Wikipedia, Amazon. Those are websites with a very high authority. I think they're all 9 or 10. Their numbers. It doesn't really matter right now. These have super high authority. So if the higher the authority of a site that links to you, the more powerful the link juice you get is, the more important Google will see you, which is, again, understandable. If the New York Times links to you, then obviously you're very important, and Google knows that. So that's very important. Another group of sites that does very high authority is anything .gov, governmental sites, or .edu, like educational sites. So if you connected to any of those, or you know someone there, and they're willing to give you a link, that is huge. That is really huge. Now, to remind you, domain, that's the name of your website. That's the name you register in the beginning with Namecheap or GoDaddy or wherever you register your name. That's myawesomewebsite.com. That's your domain. So the authority of your domain. And if you have a brand new site, it has no authority, so you need to build that. And the main way to do that is through linking. So you need other links, other sites to link to you to build authority. The other parameter is trust flow. And we'll get to both of those in a moment. Trust flow obviously is about trust. That's all Google is about. Is it relevant? Is it trustworthy? Is it important? It wants to give its readers the most relevant information when they put in a search term, and you have to convince Google that your site is the most relevant. That's really what SEO is all about. So it does take time, and you shouldn't just dump like 20 links on your site, even if it's totally legal. They're all legit. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look real. So spread it out. Do, every second day, then another and third. Don't have a specific pattern. Just add the links. And you will gradually gain domain authority. This is not something you want to rush. Now, the big question, of course, how to build links. That is the big mystery. That's where some people are absolute ninjas. Those are the top-notch SEOs in the world that make up to $20,000 a month from each single client because they're that good. People who can rank something super competitive, let's say lawyer, New York City, or a plastic surgery, Beverly Hills, something like that. Huge competition, huge marketing budgets, extremely difficult to rank #1 in Google. Anyone who can do that will be superbly paid. And it makes sense because any business that ranks #1 in Google gets 40% of the traffic for that particular keyword. If you put in a search term, 40% of the time you will click on that first link, and if the site is good, you will stay there. Second is already less, and then anything page 2, forget it. If you're on page 2, it's usually can pretty much forget about it. So that's why that is so powerful, and that's why businesses pay so much money to SEOs. Those are the people who do the online marketing, the Google ranking, because they make them so much more money than the relatively comparatively small amount they pay them. Even a beginner SEO usually starts at $500 a month, and it is a monthly service because you're basically renting links that they build for you or that they create for you, just as a general instruction. However, if you have a local site and you don't need to rank in New York City on page 1, a lot of this you can do yourself. You just need a little bit of patience and a willingness to learn, and it's totally doable. All right, so let's get started. 4 simple ways you can start building links, and they're totally legal because there's white hat and black hat. You can probably guess which one is more legal than the other, and there's also gray hat. Anyone ranking on page 1 in Google for a super competitive keyword term does employ some kind of black hat tactics. It just doesn't work any other way unless you're a high authority site like Forbes, Huffington Post, New York Times. Once you have that level of authority, whatever you put out will rank immediately. But most sites are not there, so everybody uses some techniques to get to that point for very competitive keywords. Now, here is what you can do to get started, and this is very important. You should right away build social profiles. Facebook, Twitter, Google, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram. And don't worry, you don't have to constantly update them. I know that's tedious. We all don't want to do it. But even just setting up, let's say, 4 or 5 profiles sends a signal to Google. It brands you. It's important to use your business name or your blog name. It sends a signal to Google, here's a new business, and it's across the board, and you exist and you're legitimate. That's the very first thing. And ideally, you also want to interact with some of them. It's totally fine if you don't do it with all. We all are busy. But social profiles, very first thing you should do. Ideally, if you can get someone to do it for you, even set up 20, 24 profiles, you don't have to update those, but just have them up there, and that's already, builds your name, builds your brand in the eyes of Google. Secondly, actually, let me go to part 3 first, business directories and associations. Directories, something like Yellow Pages, Yelp, anything, if you have a business or a service that falls under that, absolutely list yourself there. Anything you can get on, it's called citations. List yourself there and make sure the information you put in is always the same, that the spelling is always the same. That too makes a difference for Google. The other thing you can do is professional associations or clubs or whatever you belong to. Usually they allow you a profile and you can put in a link to your website, and that too is already good link building. Once again, you're building trust with Google so they understand you are a legitimate business, or you're a legitimate blogger or writer or whoever you are, but you're legitimate. You're a real person and you do good things, and you are worthy of being featured high. You need to build trust. It takes time, but it's worth it, and you need to do it step by step. That's why it's important to start link building from day one. Don't put it off. Now, number 2, ask for links. We all have friends, family, professional colleagues, university, whatever, doctors, whoever you know. And most of them have websites, and some of those websites are a couple of years old, meaning they will probably have good domain and domain authority and trust flow. So, the first thing when you get off here, make a long list of everybody you know that has a website, and then, every day you ask 2 or 3 people, would you give me a link from your site? Now, this may seem like begging, but most people don't even know what you're talking about. And if you can explain to them, I'm just beginning to learn SEO and how to rank on Google, and having backlinks is very important to me, and I'm happy to share a little more information with you if you also want to know how to improve your SEO or ranking. They will be very interested to hear, so you're doing them a favor too, and you can even send them to this little course or anywhere else. It doesn't really matter. But once they understand this is actually important and this can help them too, they will be mostly more than happy to do it. And if they don't want to do it, that's fine. They can either mention you in an article or put it at the bottom, at the footer. There's many ways to put it. It doesn't have to be obvious in everybody's face. If it is, great, but it doesn't have to be. The link counts wherever it is. And just go through it. Even doctors, local businessmen, women, restaurants, doctors, I don't know. Just make a list of everyone you know and think about what sites they have. And I will give you another tool to see how important the sites are. Also, every one of your friends, most people these days have websites, link amongst each other. Even if it's a new site, it makes a big deal. Plus, everybody's site over time grows in authority, and so the link juice gets more powerful. So there's many things that you can get, just not porn and gambling. Other than that, you're good. Another way people often recommend, not super powerful, but doesn't hurt, if you're active in forums in your field, you can comment, and you usually can include your website. It's good to leave helpful information and not just advertise your site, but that's a way to do it. Also, blog comments. Like I said, they're not as powerful as real links, but they certainly are measured in some way. The fourth one, maybe not the thing you want to do immediately, but to keep in mind, is guest blogging on bigger, higher authority blogs. There's a fantastic course by John Morrow. He was the highest paid writer in the world, $7,000 per article. And then he built his own business, Smart Bloggers. It used to be Boost Blog Traffic, now it's smartbloggers.com. I highly recommend checking out that site and subscribing to his stuff. And if you're interested in guest blogging, he has the best course in the market, and it's I think it was $197 when I did it a while back, and it was the best money I ever spent. Because blogging is different from any other type of writing, and approaching big name blogs takes skill, and you need to know how to do it and how to pitch it and how to structure your blog post. It's not just writing something and hope for the best. That's not how it works. It will take you years to get there. I did this course, and within 2 weeks I was featured on a major big blog. And then I did this a number of times. So I kept getting accepted immediately in very high level, high authority blogs, because writing, I guess, was good, but I also knew how to write and how to structure and how to pitch. It also comes, in fact, that you can get for $7, a directory, a little black book of all editors of the Huffington Post, Forbes, a number of other sites I can't remember now, but it's a huge resource, direct emails. So look in the description, click on that little thing, show more, and the guest blogging thing, just click on there, sign up, and get the emails. You will never regret it. It's one of the best things you can ever do. And that's another very powerful way to build authority and get huge, high power backlinks. All right, so now let's quickly focus on 2 ways to check authority if you don't know, and usually don't. There's 2 that are very simple and they're free: Moz Toolbar and majestic.com. So for Moz, I put it here in the search engine. You put in Moz Toolbar and this will come up. And you just click on that and you download it for free. It's a Chrome or Firefox extension and it's free. And you can see at the top, you see a black bar, Moz bar. And normally there's also green and blue color. In this case, because it's a Google search, the bar is right under each posting. Normally, if it's just one site that's up, then it's at the top. So you can see the top listing there. You see PA82 and 1,257 links and DA 92. Now, DA is domain authority. That's the number that is really important. That's for the whole site. And PA is the page authority, that particular page that you're opening. So not the whole site, but the specific article, basically. So in this case, it's super high, 92, 82. That is almost as high as it gets. YouTube has 100. I think Amazon has 100 or close to that. So that's very, very high number. And if you install that, it can show you that under everything that you Google. It's kind of interesting. And then you can also click on link analysis, as you can see. And then this screen comes up. That's Open Site Explorer. It's a paid service, but this part, you have a certain number of pages you can put in every day for free. Like what you see here, you can get for free. And that's a more detailed description, 92 domain authority, page authority, and then you see the established links. This is a little more advanced stuff, just to understand the difference between root domain and total links. Root domain is, let's say, CNN.com. That's the root domain, but from CNN, you might, if you get really lucky, have 10 different links from different pages coming in, and those are the links. That's why the total links number is usually bigger than the root domain. So that's all that means. Wouldn't worry too much about that for now, but it's a good thing to have. Now for domain authority, just keep that in mind. For domain authority, you want, once you reach a minimum of 15, you're good to go. And any site that has at least a domain authority of 15 is definitely a very good link for you to have. Higher, better. And higher authority sites usually have 20, 30, 40, 50. But you may even among your friends and family have people whose site has been around for a while, and they do good work and they have at least 15. And that's definitely a wonderful link to have, and that will definitely help your ranking. So that's why this tool is good, or just get the Moz bar and check that. Put the website in the top, and it will show you at the top what the domain authority is. The other site that is more important these days is Majestic, and that shows you trust flow. That's the parameter. You see the same website, moz.com. You see root domain. That means it is without the www. Some sites are set up for this without the www. You can still put it in and the site will come up, but it's not the powerful part. That's called root domain. Most sites these days are set up like that. Sometimes it's the www. You should always check the subdomain as well. You can see that under root domain, subdomain, and whatever is higher, that's the one they're ranking for. So you see 40, that's pretty high, although not super high compared to how big this site is. And on the right, you see citation flow. And the only thing you want to pay attention to, if citation flow is 2 to 3 times higher than trust flow, that's a sign that there's quite a bit of spam on that site. So I would maybe avoid a link like that. Definitely if it's 3 times as high, let's say you have 10 trust flow and 30 citation flow, I would stay away, because then there's something not right. They have a lot of spammy links to build the ranking, and that's not what you want. That's not good. If it's twice, 10 and 20, that's fine. It wouldn't go too much higher. As for search parameters, we said domain authority 15, trust flow 10. That's when it starts to become interesting. That's still relatively low, but it will give you a good backlink. So if you can find other domains, you can very easily check it yourself. This is free. You have, I think, 3 free searches a day with this thing here. And you find sites that have domain authority of 15 and trust flow of 10. You're good to go. Those domains will definitely help you, especially if they're in your category. But even if they're not, it still is link juice. It's just more important if they are. And you see here in the middle, computer. Moz is the #1 resource for SEO, so it's a lot about computers, business. So you want mostly things that are in your genre and not too much otherwise. It doesn't have to be perfect, but mostly. All right, so if you need more help, this is just the basic stuff, and I have a few packages. I don't want to do a sales pitch here. I'm just offering it if you want to have a solid 2 to 3 month plan to just build some good basic links, or if you have a local business that you're trying to rank on page 1, need some articles written, just have someone have a look at your site, or you need YouTube ranking. I offer package services for that. Just go to sassyzengrel.com, contact, send me a message, or go to the page in the description. I think it's sassyzengrel.com/SEO services, something like that. But you'll find it. It's definitely in the description. shoot me a message, tell me what you need, and we'll go from there. And if you still need help building a website or a blog, then this little book can help you. Again, the link is in the description. All right, thanks so much for watching and take care. Bye.